everyone, Jim Phoenix here, and another exciting episode of Streamin Demons. That's right, where we take the very brand new, the rental, which is a borrowed, and the old. Along with my co-host, Evie, say hello.
Hi.
We have an awesome, reoccurring guest host of Nicole. Say hi.
Hey, everyone.
Great. Now that we're all introduced, as always, I am a very lazy bear, so we let our guests go first. Nicole, what movie did you do?
I watched Army of the Dead on Netflix.
Oh my gosh, Army of the Dead. I loved it. I look forward to it. I've actually seen this one. I'm happy to talk with you. Yay.
Oh, we was so excited. So first and foremost, fun thing, I have a 4 degree of separation from someone who was actually in this movie. Kind of.
Kind of in the movie?
Kind of. So for those of you who did not notice, in the trailer, there is a zombie tiger. His name is Valentine. Valentine was based, the CGI model was based on a cat whose name is Sapphire from Big Cat Rescue. And fun fact, Sapphire was originally born in Ohio, and I know this because she was owned by an incredibly irresponsible person whose wild cats and a bear got out and were actually near me. My life was in danger for a very short period of time from the tiger that is the CG model for Valentine in the movie.
Oh my god, so you were attacked by a zombie tiger?
Sadly, no.
Oh.
No. I would love to meet Sapphire.
Attacked.
Almost attacked.
Almost attacked by a zombie tiger. Okay, there you go.
Yes, I would love to meet Sapphire. Sapphire is a beautiful animal. I'm a huge fan of Big Cat Rescue.
Have you seen the same show? Because that cat was like missing half his face.
Well, yes, that's why Sapphire is the CG model. Valentine is the tiger in the movie.
Oh, so
it's like
not
Candyman.
Yes, it's like I met the actor cat. Well, I didn't meet him, but you know what I mean.
I tell you what, I have met Tony Todd, and that's not CGI. That's just Tony Todd.
Oh,
that's just
he really
Tony
doesn't
Todd.
have any flesh on his chest. It's just a beehive.
It's just bees. Well, I wasn't like massaging his chest. I think this podcast is getting a really weird direction now. There, Evangeline.
You started it, bro.
Well, I'm gonna finish it on the next episode of no. So okay, cool. That's kind of cool. So you think the CGI work? This is a great question to lead in. I just complimented my own question. Thanks. Do you think this CGI work in the movie held up then, since you saw the cat for realsies?
For the most part. For the CGI tiger was pretty good. Some of the other CGI in the movie was not as great, but overall it was pretty good. There were a couple moments where it's not quite living up, but that being said, there was a lot going on in the movie. So unless you're really paying attention, you're not going to see where the CGI slips.
Yeah, it's not like the Hulk. We can see like the CGI Hulk face, like the old Hulk movie. Not the standalone, the standalone that just kind of like blacks out.
Yeah.
It's not that noticeable.
No, this isn't Ed Norton Hulk level.
Voodoo was going to say something.
Yeah, I was wondering, is this like, so basically this movie's stupid fun, right?
We thought it was going to be that. No, it was not.
No, it is not.
It was smart. It was emotional. So let me give you the premise of the movie. A single super souped up zombie escapes from a transit where he's being transported from Area 51 to another location. He manages to turn enough people over to his own kind to create an army of zombies, Army of the Dead, that take over Las Vegas. Years later, after many lives were lost, many people were hurt by this. There are people that may or may not be infected, held in not refugee camps right outside of Vegas. Congress is arguing over what to do about them. And they're also considering nuking all the zombies and not considering they're going to nuke all the zombies. So our main character, whose name is Scott, is asked to put together a heist team because this is also a Las Vegas heist movie. So they're going to put together a heist team to go into Las Vegas and steal a bunch of money out of the safe, out of the vault, excuse me, and bring it back to this guy. So I expected this to be stupid fun. It was not. It was incredibly emotional. I don't normally learn the characters' names in zombie movies because they're just going to die. But I was legitimately upset when a lot of people died. No spoilers, but a lot of people die, obviously.
It's a zombie survival film.
Yeah, it's a zombie survival film, but it's not like so many other zombie movies where you don't care. This was more George Romero-esque, where you care about the people, you care when they die, and in a couple of cases, you cheer when they die.
Okay.
I don't think I cheered, but
that one dude.
Spoilers. Yeah, spoilers. But I will say, I believe that is correct. It looked like, oh, it's gonna be a fun little romp, and by the first of Act 1, I'm like, oh, it's Suicide Squad. Like, this is the Zack Snyder version of what he would have done with Suicide Squad, with no one having powers.
Yeah, it was very good. Also, yeah. I thought I was the only person who liked Suicide Squad.
I didn't dislike it. I wish it would have had more story.
Yeah, and it really could have.
Yeah, like they could probably cut a ton out of it. Now, or The Dirty Dozen, which is basically a Suicide Squad before Suicide Squad is like, Anyways, I'm showing my age now. You liked it. You thought it is a bit of a family movie. It's a bit of a heist movie. What do you think of the action sequences? How about the dialogue? What grabbed you the most?
Well, I always say it comes down to character motivation, character action. Number one thing that's going to grab me in anything is going to be that. Yes, the action scenes were great. Yes, it was bloody and gory. And there were some great scenes, just people getting crushed by a big tanker truck. But the big thing was the character motivations made sense. There was no one who was a stupid throwaway character in this. There was a character whose unfortunately name I can't remember because I referred to him as YouTube the entire way through.
Oh, that dude? Yeah, with the hair?
Yeah, the guy was trying to go viral. But he was a good person. He wasn't like, can I say Logan Paul?
Well, I'm not
He wasn't Logan Paul. Yeah, he wasn't an asshole. So a lot of it, what drove me in was the characters and the fact that I think they set up a sequel. There were a lot of questions at the end of it that we don't have answers to. Things that I can't actually say because it will spoil things.
Right, like Las Vegas itself. What happens to Las Vegas? Then that's not... If they bomb Las Vegas, there's zombies in Las Vegas, I don't think anyone would really notice, first of all. It's kind of how it looks anyways.
Yeah.
But, gosh, it is a bank heist movie that is about, it's like Ocean's 9, 12, 11, 13, 15, whatever it is. Yeah, it's got that setup to it too.
One more question. I haven't actually read any real reviews or anything just because I too want to see the movie because like it seemed fun. But I did notice a lot of people when they were talking about it, they were saying negative things because they felt that it portrayed people negatively or something. Like, did it seem anyway insulting anyone in the movie, or is it just no, not really? Because I'm not getting the same vibes from random one-offs people would say about the movie from what you're telling me.
Is this just woke shit?
No, I have no idea, honestly, because like I said, I wasn't reading any spoilers or anything.
Yeah, no.
I just vaguely remember people like complaining something.
This isn't realistic about da 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 da. Well, as a person who lived in Las Vegas for over 20 years, that part's pretty true. Like the entirety of it. No, like the set up the people that come from the mass people. Remember, most people in this movie, and Nicole, correct me if I'm wrong, are actually from Las Vegas because they were living there when the zombie apocalypse happens
Yeah.
and they moved out.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I didn't find anything to be. I mean, it's a zombie movie, so like it's hard to say, well, it was realistic, but I
Yeah.
didn't find anything to be offensive or in poor taste or questionable in that way. But I mean, everyone's going to see it differently.
That's true.
Yeah. And there was an aspect of the movie that we haven't quite seen in zombie movies before. Night of the Living Dead, zombies were across the entire planet, we think. You know, all these other things like zombies are Walking Dead, zombies are everywhere. This is localized.
Mm.
Like you almost have to be dumb enough to go into the zombie nest.
Well, and not only that, but there were zombies that reminded me more of the zombies in the original I Am Legend, not the movie, but the book.
Right.
For anyone who hasn't read the original book, it's fantastic. And the zombies, the creatures, I should say, in that movie or in that book are not zombies. They are not mindless. They are intelligent. And at one point, they actually arrest the main character, who they see as a monster, because he is slaughtering them.
Yeah. I do remember that part where, unlike the movie, it's a little more ambiguous morality wise.
Yeah, but whether or not he should even be killing them.
Right. Like basically killing an entire population just because
Yeah.
it's slightly different.
And there was kind of a feel of that. They didn't really explore it as much as I would have liked to see in Army of the Dead, but there were some moments where, again, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's very clear that at very least, what was the main character, the main zombie's name? It wasn't Caesar, but that's what stuck in my brain as Caesar.
Because he was in Caesar's palace or something.
Well, actually, because it was reminding me of Planet of the Apes.
Oh, I was like put the geography on the Vegas geography.
But there's definitely a moment where you realize this is a thinking, feeling creature who has emotions, who has attachments, and there's some question as to whether or not he's really that much of a monster.
True, and it's, I know what you're talking about, but it's hard to say more without spoilers.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. Is like and again, as like any of our movies, it's something we like to discuss spoiler free, and there's only so far we can go. And the audience has to make their own judge. But with that said, how many Cthulhu's would you give this Netflix film, Army of the Dead?
Oh, I would give it a 5 out of 5. Everyone
5 out of 5.
Yeah, and they need to make the sequel quickly.
You know what? That's an awesome rating, and I agree on the sequel. I actually canceled my Netflix, but I canceled it to cancel today because I knew the movie was coming out, yesterday. I'm like, okay, I'll watch the movie and it'll be canceled. No big deal. I agree. I think it's a sequel-worthy movie, and 5 out of 5. As I always say, wow, I'm not following that one. So, Voodoo Priestess, what do you got for us with the old? You got the old, right, Voodoo?
I got the old.
All
and
right.
So I decided what I should do is try to find an old movie that, everyone has heard of. Just something that really kind of captures that spirit of old. So I got the Japanese horror movie, A Page of Madness from 1926.
I heard that one.
Totally, right?
Yeah.
Nope.
I haven't either.
Really? Because we discussed this before you're going to watch it. I'm like, oh my God. Because I was going to do back when, for people who don't know, we let the guests pick first, like what movie they want. And then Voodoo and I kind of go like, which one do you want left, right? And old. I love it. So absolutely. Let's do this.
Yeah.
1927.
And I went through a couple different old films because honestly, there's a lot in horror that people remember. Nosferatu, The Golem, the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Everyone knows those films.
We love, except for one person.
Yeah. So I decided to look around to try to find something that I would like. And this is a Page of Madness, which one thing that separates this from a lot of other black and white silent horror films, this doesn't have any dialogue. There's like dialogue cards that usually like cut in between scenes,
Yeah.
and it's like they start talking and stuff. This don't have them. It's just a stream of visuals, and you kind of have to figure out the story on your own, if there even is one, because it's called A Page of Madness, and it's about a lady in a mental institution and all the mental patients around her, and it's just craziness and things happen. I think the plot might be her husband trying to get through to her.
Okay, so if you're gonna ground this into something more modern, would this be like the American Horror Story Asylum? He said, questioning his horror story titles.
Asylum is the one you probably
Is it?
referenced.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
I wouldn't quite call it that. Honestly, what drew me to the movie was like the beautiful visuals,
Really?
and because when you think of old movies, you don't really think of any really cool effects.
Or any
And
effects.
any
Sometimes.
effects at all.
Yeah.
There are some cool effects in here, and sort of the way they do it makes everything look surrealist. I don't think this movie actually is supposed to come with any sound at all, like no soundtrack orchestra in the background.
Really?
Yeah. I did watch a version on YouTube with the orchestra attached to it. It was by the Alloy Orchestra from like 2016 or whatever. And I thought the music fit pretty well, but at the same time, there were some scenes in the movie where it's like, it feels like the soundtrack's being more manipulative to and
Set the
changes.
tone.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, however you prefer to watch it, it's kind of interesting because it's basically you just watch an hour and 15 minutes of madness and get absorbed into it.
Holy no, okay. Hour 15. Does it have an act structure, or is it just kind of free flowing?
I'm gonna say it's kind of free throwing because there are scenes where you see actors' mouths moving, and it's obvious that they're talking to each other. But again, there's no real dialogue between them. They don't show off the dialogue, so you just kind of figure it out yourself. And that's something I actually kind of appreciate in some films, where it's sort of a surrealist experience, you know?
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Dang, that's cool. Now, why do you think they did that?
So this is something I kind of do notice sometimes when you get into silent films. The cut cards where they cut to the black and then they have the words on it. Sometimes that kind of distracts a bit from the story. Like it breaks the tempo off a little bit, in my opinion. Like sometimes I wish they would just, put subtitles down there. Redo the movies just with subtitles.
That's my new ringtone, everyone. You heard it first. On this podcast, we just broke it. Voodoo Priestess insists on subtitles for foreign films. Thank you very much.
For silent films.
No.
Films.
Hey, what film was this? I forgot. What film we're doing?
Well, this one was A Page of Madness, but it doesn't have any.
What kind of movie was it? What kind of movie?
It was a silent film.
Japanese movies. Therefore, it's a foreign movie. Therefore, you were advocating, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, they are advocating for subtitles. I believe you are correct. Every movie should have subtitles. Thank you. My work is done. Microphone drop.
I feel like I'm missing a joke.
I watched one Korean TV show with subtitles, or not subtitles, dubs. Oh, I trampled my own joke. And Voodoo's like, no, I don't want subtitles. I don't want nothing.
Well, I like subtitles. It's just that my Netflix recommendations, because I was watching a lot of foreign movies and stuff, is like all subtitled things. And I wasn't in the mood to read. I just wanted to watch a movie, but all I got was Korean TV shows or Taiwanese or freaking Indonesian.
They
It
have
was,
you pegged well, by the way.
yeah.
They do.
Yeah, and it was just like I was going through this mood where it's like I didn't want to read anything, but somehow every time I chose a movie or something, it ended. I didn't realize it at the time. It would be something subtitled. It'd be
Okay.
German or Swedish, and
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Damn it, they looked white enough." I'm
See,
sorry.
Jim likes dubs. That's what it is. He
Dubs are
likes,
awful.
and Voodoo Priest's dubs are awful. And Jim is very old and apparently dead inside, according to his co-host.
Yeah.
And so he got dubbing and subtitles confused. Now on 2 different podcasts, by the way. Yeah, so maybe that's your running joke. I'm just so old, I don't know what talkies are. That's the whole thing right there. Okay, so is it horror enough? Can you do your own suspense through this movie without dialogue and the score?
I'd say so. Yeah.
That works out.
Because
Cool.
yeah, because there's something that's really unsettling of just watching people, and it's like they're not on the same plane as you. If you know what I mean, it's like
Yeah, you took version, they took spirit.
yeah, sure.
Travel jokes. I got plenty of them. 2 really, but yeah. So they're not in the same plane of existence, or not in the same plane of field, or what?
It just feels like, you know, like in the fairy, like in all the folk tales with fairy folk and stuff, there's something unsettling when you come across a group of fairies or something in the ring. And it's not that they're being particularly violent or terrifying or anything, but you can just tell that there's something,
Off.
yes, that they're like not one of us kind of thing. It's just weird, uncanny feeling. Let's just say it fits in the Uncanny Valley experience of life.
I will be definitely. This is One Page of Madness.
Page of Madness.
Page of Madness. That sounds cool as hell, man. How many Cthulhu's would you give it though? It's a real test.
Would I give it like a 3.5 or a 4? Because there is a part in the middle where it feels like it kind of slows down a little bit. I'd probably give it a 4 because I want to rewatch it. Like 4 is where it's like this is good enough to rewatch.
Rewatchable.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I would rewatch it, and this time I might try to do it without the music, because again, in some spots it really did seem manipulative instead of what the director intended.
I think this could be our Canard à Trois. Plus, there's no dialogue, so we don't actually have to mute our mics when people are talking, and there's no editing then. It's awesome. We should find more silent horror movies for Canard à Trois. There's nothing to get sued over. I love it. Great idea. And at 4 Cthulhu's, that sounds about right. Wow. Thanks, Evie. Or excuse me, Voodoo Priestess.
This is our co-host, Jim, who always tries new ways to be as lazy as possible.
Thanks for the introduction. And with that great introduction of me being lazy, I guess, which is true if anyone wants to take a poll on that one. I had the rental, and I forgot I had the rental until, it's still on my Apple thing. I actually watched this entire movie, unlike most of the things we review. So don't worry, I can give you an honest rental or honest opinion.
Don't admit that, dude. Don't admit that.
What? Like, I got time to watch the things I say I watch. Come on. I got the title, IMDb's right here. It's all I need is a trailer. We're all good. No, I always sort of watch everything I talk about. Whatever. People who have time for movie watching. But Benny Loves You. I scrolled through the rentals. I actually wanted to see if I could rent Saw, and they're like, no. I'm like, okay, that sucks. Now I was going to rent this, like, no, okay. But Benny Loves You. It is a 2019 movie out of the UK, if I remember everyone's accents correctly. Written, directed, and starring Carl Holt. That's a trifecta right there. It's feels kind of like a little UK council movie, little indie film, but it's got some backing one pump because that CGI's got some massive CGI in this one. And the CGI, and here's the thing, I don't 100% know if it's CGI or just puppet work, because it could be the old-fashioned still frame puppet work at play too. I don't know how they did it, and that's a good thing. If I know how they did it, I'm like, oh, okay, I know this is how it's done. Sometimes you don't want to know. And from the IMDb, Jack, a man desperate to improve his life throws. Oh, wow, hold on. Let me try
His
grammar.
life throws?
I know. Okay. Full disclosure. When I was reading this on the IMDb, the log line, I thought like, wow, this log line is shit. Like 100%. Like I wouldn't watch this fucking movie if I just looked for this log line. And people, log lines are important. You can have the best movie in the world, but if you can't, best book in the world, best anything in the world, but if you can't sell to anyone in a small sentence or two, fuck it. So whoever wrote this log line, shame on you. Whoever reading this log line, shame on me. Jack, a man desperate to improve his life, throws away his beloved childhood plush, Benny. It's a move that has disastrous consequences when Benny springs a life of deadly intentions. Everyone wants to watch it now. Good. No. It is a not quite child's play. It's not quite like the Chucky doll coming to life. It is a bit like Ted being a sociopath. Ted being the McFarlane movie, like Ted 2. If Ted the teddy bear was just a social, I think Ted's actually a sociopath in those movies too, but more of an active sociopath that kills people, that's Benny Loves You. It's heartwarming. It's got some peaks and lows. It is a horror comedy. I will suggest that right now. And I believe when I talked about Witness Infection, we're talking about Uncle Peckerhead and Shaun of the Dead before. Horror comedy is really hard to do because usually they either do really great horror, crappy comedy, or really good comedy and crappy horror. Witness Infection, Shaun of the Dead, Uncle Peckerhead being the exceptions, doing both very well. I believe this does decent comedy. Maybe the horror needs a little tweaking because it's firmly rooted in comedy. Who's watched Child's Play? Either version. Okay, Nicole, did you find Child's Play horror?
So I'm probably not a good person to ask because as a child, I watched Child's Play and was so scared my mother had to get rid of 2 very expensive dolls.
Hi, I'm Teddy Ruxpin.
So, oh no.
Remember me? Put a tape in me. I'd speak it out.
It was horrifying. I don't know whose concept that was, but it was terrible. Now, I always thought the Child's Play was scary until we got up to like the new ones, like The Bride of Chucky and The Seed of Chucky. Those were played for laughs and not that well.
And I think it's more of the play for laughs. I really think Benny Loves You is more the play for laughs. Evie, have you, or Voodoo Priestess, excuse me, have you ever seen like the Child Play Leprechaun? Wait, Leprechaun wasn't like a toy, was it?
Leprechaun was not a toy.
But there were Lucky
The
Charms.
stuff? The Lucky Charm person came alive. No, yeah. But you know what I mean? Like the little animal comes alive. Little stuffed animal, the child's toy, Puppet Master, basically.
Yeah. I've seen those movies. Okay,
now were you afraid of the toy?
Let's see. Honestly, no. When I was younger, my mom showed me Trilogy of Terror, and He Who Kills, the little Zuni fetish doll. I love that thing, and I wish I had one. Like, I loved it so much. It was adorable and had a little spear, and it killed everyone. It was so cool.
See, there you go, Carl Holt. All I have to do is like mark the crap out of the Benny Loves You doll, and you're gonna make a killing of merchandise right now. But that's the way you describe this Voodoo Priestess is exactly the entire concept of this movie. It's this cute little doll doing cute little kill scenes, and they build up the kill scenes like it's like Ralph S. Mouse trying to find things Ralph S. Mouse size to be like a real person. That's what Benny loves you. The entire premise is him going through these things and trying to, like, kill various people. But as a comedy, you got some giggles. It does work, and I'll give my star rating or my Cthulhu rating a little bit later. CGI could be puppeting, could be CGI, but it still works. The characters are all fleshed out. It works. There are character arcs-ish. It works. Act 3, by admitting of the writer, or at least the person who wrote, directed, and acted in it, might not have been smooth. And if you watch the movie, you'll find out why. But the rest really kind of, it's a nice 40-year-old virgin meets Chucky. That's basically, if I can give, there's your log line, Carl.
Yes, that should get their log line.
40-year-old virgin meets Chucky. The end. Microphone drop. Free for a reason. I think it is worthy of the rental price. I think I'm paying like $6.99 to rent it Canadian. Definitely worth it on Apple. No problems. I'd watch it again later on when it came on some other streaming thing. I'm going to give this one 4.5 Cthulhu's. 0.5 off from being a perfect score because, damn it, the blood was nice. Great blood work. Again, all these little effects are very well done. I want more horror. I really just wanted more horror out of the common horror. And that would have been a 5 out of 5. I think this has legs, no pun. And I think the merchandising is going to be insane if he goes that way. Yeah. Cool.
You should go that way.
You should definitely go that way. Because we'll buy one. I'll be wearing a Benny Loves You t-shirt later on. Oh, I wouldn't be doing that. Unless they gave me one. I'll be wearing that one. That'd be awesome. I'll wear whatever you guys give me. Hey, my name is Jim Phoenix, and I'll wear whatever you give me. Trust me. Princess Bride dress? I'm in it. A Princess Bride dress? I'll rock that too. I got the legs for it. It's all good. So if you want to give us free stuff, send it our way. With that being said, some plugs. Nicole, you're a guest. What do you want to plug?
Well, you can check me out on HauntedMTL. You can listen to the podcast that I co-host with J.M. Brannick called Off the Bone, all about true crime. You can also check out my personal blog, Paper Beats World, for a whole bunch of speculative fiction stuff.
What is speculative fiction? Someone asked Brannick this a couple of weeks ago. I want to make sure their definition matches yours.
Speculative fiction is science fiction, fantasy, and horror. Basically all the good things in the world.
Okay, cool. That was kind of their own thing too. Awesome sauce. Voodoo Priestess, what do you want to plug besides Dead Before Dawn? Getting your butt
Dead
stomped?
Before Daylight. You're the
Dead
one
Before
who has
Daylight.
that game. You're the one who has that game.
You're the one that said they'll play with me then didn't.
Well, I will play with you. God. Which, if you guys want, you can totally play Dead by Daylight with us because we're looking for people to play. I'm guilting some of my friends into playing, so it'll be just like a buddy team thing. Mostly my friend Tabitha. My friend Tabitha, I told her about it. She was like, I want to kill people. She was so excited for it.
And then you told her about a game. You're like, oh, there's also a game called Dead Before Dawn. She's like, really? I can kill people and play a video game? That's awesome.
Sometimes I think she'll do it, man. Sometimes I think she'll do it.
I don't know Tabitha, but you know what? If they're a friend of yours, they're a friend of yours. So there you go.
That's true.
You want to plug Dead Before? You can plug that. That's cool. That's a good game.
Yeah. Let's plug Dead Before Daylight.
Dead Before Daylight. Cool.
Yeah. That's what Dead by Daylight. God damn it. You're making me. Let's plug that game and hopefully somebody will find the actual game we want because we can't call it anything correctly.
No, we can't. We can't. I was just trying to look for the letter 2. The letter 2. Oh, good lord. The number 2. I was trying to look it up online. I'm like, D2D? And I'm like, that's porn. No, what the hell? DBD? DBD. That's what I was. I have no idea what those things stand for. I did start playing it. It is on Xbox Game Pass for another couple forevers. No, that's cool. Good plug. I'll take that one. And I'm going to plug Darcy the Mail Girl's Patreon page. If you don't know by now, Darcy the Mail Girl from the last drive-in is doing a Patreon page. It's got swag, it's got swagger, it's got a bunch of things that start with the letter S. I just named swag and swagger. You named the last one. It's great. There's a lot of clips from the old drive-ins with old stuff with Joe Bob Briggs. Even Joe Bob Briggs running for president. She dug that out, dusted it up, and restored it well enough so we can all play it on our little YouTube boxes or our little Patreon page boxes. So that is Patreon, Patreon.com, Darcy the Mail Girl. Check it out on our website. We will link it, of course, as we do for all of our plugs. And with that all being said with the plugs, I want to thank our special guest, Nicole, and I want to thank Voodoo Priestess for doing another home run out of the park with a very, very, very old movie finds. And again, kids, remember, if you've seen a movie that we haven't, well, shit, there's only like 2 of us, rotating guests, a couple billion people on the planet. Good for fucking you, yeah? Let us know what the movie is. Maybe review it too. Without any further ado, bye.
I hear a cat.